What is going on, you beautiful bastards? I'm Brandon Sylvia. This is my YouTube channel. Consider subscribing if you are new. Tons and tons of shit to dive into today. Everything listed down below in the timestamps. Going to try to get through this in somewhat of a timely fashion, but we have a lot to dive into here. Like I said, everything listed down below in the timestamps so you can find whatever it is that you are looking for. But first, we got to dive into this Ubisoft Forward event that I just got finished watching. Watched the whole thing. Probably a mistake. Need to start learning to understand which events to look at from afar and go, probably not going to be a lot there. Probably better to just watch it after the fact and, dive into the things that look interesting and avoid the stuff that doesn't look interesting. But there have been a time or two where Ubisoft has put on some decent forwards. They've had decent showcases in the past. And so you never really know what you're going to get, and they have just so much in development right now that I was like, I don't want to miss the live reveal for their new Star Wars open world game or Beyond Good and Evil 2. So I was like, I'm going to tune in. Let's see what we get. We didn't get much well, let me say, the end, we got a lot of Assassin's Creed news just bombarding us, but early on in the show, not a lot to really dive into, so I'm not going to go through every single announcement, or we would just be sitting here talking about nothing but mobile games for 30 minutes. Mobile games, Netflix shows, Mythic Quest, which actually I'll say it didn't look bad. There was enough little bits in there that were somewhat humorous. I was like, that doesn't look awful. I'm not much of a TV guy, but that show didn't look too bad. So yeah, shout out to Mythic Quest. But this entire showcase was really baffling. The Disney showcase the day before, we'll dive into that as well. It could have learned a couple lessons from that, and that showcase wasn't really great either, but it was just paced well, and you could get through. It was like 25 minutes long. You got through it. You didn't feel like you were burned too much. Watching through this, it was only maybe an hour and 20 minutes, but it felt like 4 hours. It's just stretching and going on and on. I wish there was some way, either like to get the Assassin's Creed showcase separate from the rest, or have like a mobile and free-to-play showcase and then a console showcase. Like, there has to be some way that we can better organize these showcases, because I don't feel like you're really appeasing or appealing to, like, I feel like you're putting off people by putting these things together that, like, the mobile crowd, I don't think they're really playing console games. The console crowd, I don't feel like they're really playing mobile games hardcore. So it's just, I don't know. I feel like there's probably a better way to organize this, because there's enough in that showcase to have a 30-minute deep dive into the mobile games and the TV shows and the free-to-play stuff. And then there was enough there to have a little 30-minute showcase for just the, console kind of more AAA games, and then, the Assassin's Creed games. There was probably enough there to have a 30-minute showcase just on Assassin's Creed if they went into a little bit more detail about that. But yeah, not a great show at all. We got a little bit of a look at Mario and Rabbids. It looks cute. It looks fun. And there's that game does seem like something that maybe down the road one day when it's on sale for $20 or so, I could dive into it. It looks fun enough. They have Rayman coming to a DLC down the road for Mario and Rabbids. So that's, cool enough. And I know there are fans of Mario and Rabbids out there, so I'm sure that was cool to see a deep dive into the gameplay and the systems with Sparks of Hope. We got a deeper look into Skull and Bones, which looks painfully mediocre, and I don't really have a lot else to say about this. I can't believe they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on this title. It's baffling. Nothing about this looks in any way, shape, or form appealing to me, but hopefully it finds its audience out there. Coming out the day before God of War, probably not the best move in the world, but hey, shout out to Skull and Bones. We got a deeper look at that. I'm going through my notes here trying to find anything worth really bringing up here. We had a Riders Republic update. Riders Republic does look fun. I wish I would have played that back in the day, but I think you can. It's like free to play now. I think they announced that, so maybe I will dive into it at some point. They're introducing a new DLC pack on September 14th. It features new career, gear, tricks. It has a bunch of new shit being introduced to it. The gameplay, the core gameplay loop there looks fun, and I would like to check that out at some point. Bunch of information on the Division 2 DLC, updates, mobile games, friggin' Rainbow Six mobile game. Tons of mobile games. Even getting into Assassin's Creed later, tons and tons of mobile games announced. Same thing with that Disney showcase, which is, like I said, we'll get into in a bit, but man, a lot of going from, mobile to console. It's just, I don't know. We have to figure out a better way to segment this stuff out and, have the mobile showcase and then the free-to-play showcase on its own, have the console showcase. I feel like you could probably figure out a way to work that out and appease both audiences a little bit more. But yeah, you had your Just Dances. You had a Netflix announcement that they're going to be getting 3 exclusive mobile games to Netflix from Ubisoft. So all of that aside, what pretty much everyone was here for was Assassin's Creed. And when we finally got to the Assassin's Creed portion, I'll definitely say that they delivered something. Nothing really in terms of like gameplay. So you're kind of just getting excited based off of CG and kind of concept and hoping that the game feels hoping that the CG is representative of what the moment-to-moment gameplay is going to be like when we finally get our hands on it. But nonetheless, we did get our first reveal for Assassin's Creed Mirage, and this is dropping in 2023. And it has a very old school Assassin's Creed vibe, like from the jump, it felt more Prince of Persia-ish. And then whenever you saw the character that you're going to be playing, that's when you really started to feel the old school stealth-based Assassin's Creed kind of come into its own there in the trailer. And supposedly it is going to be a very stealth focused, very narrative driven, and you're going to be playing as Basim from Valhalla, 20 years before Valhalla, and he's like starting off as a small time thief, and then he works his way up to the ranks of assassin. And so yeah, like I said, it's CG. You can't really sit here and pin your hopes and dreams to a CG trailer. But I'm really hoping here for like a 10, 15, 20 hour, very tight, very polished, very narrative focused Assassin's Creed kind of old school linear experience. Maybe have slightly expansive areas for you to traverse and to explore. But I want to take a step back and then really get into a good stealth-based narrative from Assassin's Creed, and I'd be absolutely down for that. The setting is cool. It's set in Baghdad, and your mentor is, I'm going to butcher her name, but I'm going to try it here, Shoharia Agdashlo from The Expanse and from Mass Effect. She's the mentor for the main character, has a super unique voice, so I'm hoping that there's a good story dynamic there that plays out with the mentor and the, becoming, climbing up the ranks from a thief to becoming an assassin, and, just having a nice little journey there with a more interactive world that you're getting to explore that's not, it's not trying to be this overwhelming open world 100-hour thing. I'd like to take a step back and, get something a little bit more tight and concise with Mirage. So I'm hoping that is what Mirage will end up being. And then we got to look at Assassin's Creed Codenamed Red. And this is that feudal Japan Assassin's Creed game that we have been wanting for a while. And Ghost of Tsushima kind of came in and filled that void in 2020. But we're finally getting, Assassin's Creed in feudal Japan. Once again, just a very, very, very quick teaser for this game. But it's being developed by Ubisoft Quebec, who is the team that made Odyssey. It's going to be more of an RPG, so that's kind of why I'm saying with Mirage, I'm hoping or thinking that it could be more linear, more tighter with the narrative, a shorter experience. Not short in terms of, 3-4 hours, but 10 to 15 hours, and then you have like a full 100 hour game with Assassin's Creed codenamed Red, whatever the hell that ends up getting named. But yeah, I really love Odyssey, and I would definitely be down to jump back into an Assassin's Creed world made by those developers, and have that feudal Japan setting, but made under the Ubisoft umbrella, and see what they can kind of do with that. It seemed a little bit more ninja focused. I don't know if that's a correct assumption there, but with Ghost of Tsushima and the samurai kind of vibe with this codenamed Red, it looked maybe more ninja focused from just that quick glimpse that we got. So maybe you could do something cool there by, once again, you got to think, if you have Mirage, it's going to be more stealth based. Do you want to have that with that codename Red game as well? But I guess that could be the cool twist there with codename Red, is that with it being an RPG, you have a bunch of different skill trees. You allocate your points however you'd like. If you want to go in with a more, up in your face action approach, you can do that. If you want to cater towards your stealth and really hone in on your ninja like abilities, you can do that as well. I think that would be probably sick, and I could see that being the way they go with Odyssey, the makers of Odyssey, and then just the level of freedom that you got in that game. I could see that being introduced here to codenamed Red. And then we got to look at what the OG team in Montreal is developing, and it is Assassin's Creed codenamed Hex or Hexe. And once again, just a teaser trailer, but the music here was very spooky, giving off some spooky vibes here. So, of course, my brain immediately goes to survival horror. I'm thinking, are they going to pull off some Assassin's Creed horror shit? Like, all the significant, very dark moments in history that Assassin's Creed typically doesn't delve too deep into. Is this going to be some witch trials Assassin's Creed? Like, is that going to be the historical piece you're pulling from to, for this game and for this setting? I don't know exactly what they're going to be, pulling off here, but it definitely did not have a tone or vibe that I've ever seen from Assassin's Creed. So, yeah, Assassin's Creed with a horror twist. I'm so down to see what they can pull off there. And with that being, the OG team, it makes you think that that's probably going to be a prominent, big Assassin's Creed title. And so, yeah, really seeing Ubisoft focus a lot of resources and development into a horror game is very, very compelling to me. But going over this list here for the Assassin's Creed games, we have Mirage, which is 2023, and then we have the codenamed Red game, the Feudal Japan game. So you're thinking if Mirage is 2023, that codenamed Red game probably 2025, and then you get into the Hexe game that maybe 2026, 2027. So this is a long, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot to follow along with, and it's going to stretch out for, I assume, the next few years. But starting it off next year with Mirage, I'm very much down to check that out. I would definitely like to see a little bit more gameplay, and that's kind of my thing with Ubisoft in general with this showcase. Just they're a weird company to follow along with. I say it all the time on the channel, but you're looking at okay, Beyond Good and Evil 2 not there, Star Wars game not there, whatever you have going on with that is definitely weird to me. That Beyond Good and Evil 2 is you're still saying you're working on it, but it just does not pop up anywhere ever. But okay, fine, sure. But this Avatar, the Pandora, Frontiers of Pandora, whatever the hell it's called, that not popping up is a massive, massive red flag, in my opinion. They ran a loop of it at the Disney showcase. It was the same trailer that got revealed like a year ago. And they were trying to say this game was coming in 2022. Now they're saying 2023, but if we're still not seeing anything for that, we still have not seen gameplay for that. Like, Ubisoft, they're just bizarre. They out of nowhere pop up Skull and Bones after years of nothing. Skull and Bones on the scene, releasing soon. And it makes you go, okay, is that what we're going to have with, Avatar? Is that what we're going to have with Beyond Good and Evil 2? Just a weird, very, very weird, very weird. Just all around, very weird. They're a very, very weird publisher to follow. Okay, from one showcase to the next, we are now diving into Disney and the Marvel Games showcase that was yesterday. And like I said, with the Ubisoft showcase, the complaints I have for that in terms of the pacing and making an hour and 30 minutes feel like 5 hours, the Disney showcase did not do that at all. It was 25 minutes. It felt like 25 minutes. I had no problem with the pacing or the presentation or anything with this showcase. I just had a problem with the content. Not a problem. It just wasn't for me. And I was going into that showcase feeling like that's a high, very high likelihood that a Disney and Marvel game showcase is going to be, I'm almost 30 years old. Like, I'm only there for the big AAA superhero Star Wars titles that can introduce cool gameplay mechanics, and that's all I'm really there for. Like, there was cool shit like the Disney Illusion Island that is this 2D side scroller with Goofy and Mickey and Minnie, and it looks great for people who are hardcore Disney fans, but that's not something I'm necessarily all that interested in. So this is something that it was the first time they've ever done a Disney Marvel game showcase. I wanted to pop in, see what this was going to be, see kind of, get a read of the room, understand if this is something I need to be on the lookout for every year from this point going forward. And it's definitely not. Like I was talking about with the Ubisoft showcase, probably one to just after the show catch the highlights and watch the trailers for the things you're interested in. And there are some tidbits and a few things announced here that did, get me really hyped. The main one being we got a release date for Midnight Suns. It got delayed and they were talking about, delaying until 2023. We got a release date for December 2nd, 2022. That was a very, very big shocker to me. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to this. I like what we saw with it was only there for a moment, but you saw a little glimpse into the dialogue trees, and I'm wondering how expansive that is going to be. You have like the hub world and the house that you're in with the different Marvel characters. I'm wondering if you can make these relationships that actually matter and have some significant ties to the story, and you can have characters grow to dislike you or grow to trust you. Like, those are the things that I'm more interested in than anything else. Of course, the tactics-based, card-based battle systems, all that looks fine and fun enough, but I'm more interested in the story because it's from the moment go, from the very first reveal we got of Midnight Suns, this has had a much darker tone and presentation than I would have ever expected. Like, we had the, Metallica cover, and it's like, okay, so is this going to be a little bit more substantial than I'm thinking with the narrative and having a little bit of a darker Marvel tone? I'm looking forward to diving into that story and exploring that a little bit more. But really, outside of that, the only thing here that I feel is, actually worth talking about, or at least, for the only thing I should say that I'm interested in, is the Amy Hennig new game that got revealed. And I don't even know if I can say it got revealed. I guess it kind of got revealed, but it didn't get a name reveal, which is an incredibly bizarre way to reveal your game, to announce it and have like, a nice little teaser, but not give a name for the game. That makes you think that this thing is way out there, like way out there, 2026, 2027 vibes. And I'm not saying that's going to be what happens, but that's the vibe you get when you get a trailer like this. And I just think overall, it was a bad trailer to represent your game because, whenever it was announced initially, they're talking about a narrative-driven Marvel ensemble game, and you're thinking, okay, cool, Amy Hennig, this legend, this great talent that has worked on so many classic story-based narrative-driven games, Uncharted, Legacy of Kain. Like, she has real credentials for developing these narrative-based games. And so you're thinking, okay, it's going to be an awesome single-player, AAA, hard-hitting narrative Marvel game. And then when you get the reveal, it just did not feel like that at all. So you see Captain America's shield, you see the claw marks on it. That lets you know that it's Captain America and Black Panther. And then it says 4 heroes, 2 worlds, 1 war. And that gives you the total opposite vibe of a single player narrative driven story. And I don't know if they're trying to go for this Marvel's Avengers, Square Enix Marvel's Avengers thing here, where, okay, yeah, technically there is a AAA single-player story in there, but it also comes packed with a bunch of multiplayer live service stuff. And I feel like we're really yet to see a game that is, you know, a multiplayer that is trying to give you a great story that is also giving you multiplayer components on top of it. And I know that there's probably a couple out there, but by and large, it seems like you have to pick one or the other. You're either going to have to pick a single player, you know, all of your focus going on that story and then that narrative experience that you're given to the player, or all of your focus going on to the multiplayer. It seems like if you're balancing, it's just going to be one's better than the other, or both of them end up not great at all. And in best case scenario, one is just a little bit better than the other, and in this case, it'd be great. Okay, cool, the story's better than the multiplayer's not that good, but the story's solid enough. But what you would really want more than anything is just a great single player narrative. And from this trailer, like, it does not give you the vibe that that's what this is going to be. And it's just it's just not a good reveal for the game. Okay, so quick update. While I was putting everything together while watching the Disney showcase yesterday, I was trying to look through to see if there was if Amy Hennig or anybody at Skydance did an update to say, okay, hey, yeah, this is going to be co-op or it's not going to be co-op. I couldn't find anything, but today, 9 hours ago, this article popped up here from PlayStationLifestyle.net. The title is Amy Hennig's Captain America and Black Panther Marvel game won't feature co-op. It says the Amy Hennig Marvel game, which has yet to receive an official title, won't feature co-op despite having 4 playable heroes. Hennig told IGN that although there won't be any co-op mechanics, narratively speaking, it can be seen as a co-op experience. In development at Skydance New Media, the untitled World War II era adventure will feature Captain America, Black Panther, and members of the Howling Commandos and the Wakandan Spy Network. Okay, so we can at least put that worry to rest, and we can know that, all right, great, we're going to get a real narrative-driven single-player adventure where you're getting to just experience the narrative with those 4 different playable heroes throughout the game. But it doesn't take away from the fact that you gotta put together a trailer that's a little bit better and a little bit more telling than what we got there. That was just a bad reveal trailer. And give us a damn name, for goodness sakes. I mean, that's one of those trailers where it just doesn't hurt to have a developer pop up and do a little, even if it's a 30-second interview about what the game is going to be. Just give us something so all this speculation isn't happening. Give us something so that people can just know, I like to know immediately. The first time I see a trailer, I would like to know at least enough information to go, okay, yeah, that's going to be something I'm likely interested in checking out, or yeah, that's probably not going to do it for me. So regardless, not a good reveal trailer whatsoever. Am I excited for the game? Absolutely. I am almost certain that I'll be there day one picking that game up if it's anything similar to her work with, Uncharted and shit like that. If it's going to be that type of narrative experience and, you know, if we're getting to play the gameplay, if all that shit looks good, it lines up, works well together, then absolutely, I'll be there day one checking it out. My criticism with the trailer has nothing to do with my feelings towards the game once we actually see the game. And I don't mind you having a reveal trailer that's just cinematics, or that's just, a quick reveal or a quick CGI, whatever. But at least have enough in there to give some idea to what the game is going to be. And I mean, at least have a name, for goodness sakes, for what the game is going to be. And if you are going to just have a quick little pop-up like that, it never hurts to have a developer or someone come on and speak to what the idea, what the concept for the project is going to be. So yeah, that's kind of my overall thoughts on the Amy Hennig game, but I'll kick it back to the video. So see, I'm not going to go into any more detail about anything at the Marvel Disney showcase. Nothing really there for me at all, other than the Amy Hennig somewhat kind of reveal that didn't get a name announcement, but I'm still really excited to see more on that game. We just need to see a little bit more. Have a developer, have Amy Hennig, have somebody speak about this game and let us know what this thing actually is going to be. All right, and this next topic we're going to get into is absolutely friggin' hilarious. It's coming to us from gamesindustry.biz, and it is saying, Jim Ryan said, Xbox's Call of Duty offer was inadequate on many levels. So we got console warring going on at the highest level on the public forum, and it is hysterical. So last week, Xbox revealed that it had provided a signed agreement to Sony to guarantee Call of Duty on PlayStation with feature and content parity for at least several more years beyond Sony's existing contract with Activision. Xbox said this offer goes well beyond typical gaming industry agreements. And in response to this, Jim Ryan says, I hadn't intended to comment on what I understood to be a private business discussion, but I feel the need to set the record straight because Phil Spencer brought this into the public forum. I mean, Jim Ryan really ready to duke it out here. It says Microsoft has only offered Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement between Activision and Sony ends. After almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, their proposal was inadequate on many levels and failed to take account of the impact of our gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality Call of Duty experience, and Microsoft's proposal undermines this principle. So look, all joking aside, I understand why the dude's doing this. He's a business guy. He's doing everything in his power to look after his shareholders and to, try his damnedest to get this deal squashed and to get, the CMA and all these other regulators to step in and, examine this with a fine-tooth comb to find out any nefarious goings on here. But regardless, that's a funny ass statement, inadequate on many levels, and just the whole idea of, Phil Spencer came out and said that, the Call of Duty is going to be on PlayStation for several more years, and they want to honor that. And Jim Ryan's acting like, he says in this thing here that Microsoft has only offered Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement. And so, 3 years after the current agreement, which the current agreement is believed to be for 3 releases already, so you're talking about 6 more Call of Duty games. So if one a year, if you're assuming Call of Duty gets released once a year, you have 6 more Call of Duty releases on your platform. So if you have 6 years to figure out a solution or to figure out some sort of PlayStation exclusive competitor to Call of Duty, that's on you to figure that out. It's Phil Spencer said, he wants to have Call of Duty on PlayStation for several more years. 6-7 years, that's several more years of Call of Duty. Nothing in here is a lie in any real way. So I find this incredibly funny. It's just a funny ass statement from Jim Ryan. But it is an interesting statement about this deal being inadequate on many levels. Because that makes me think back to when Phil Spencer said Bethesda games will be exclusive to platforms that have Game Pass. He said this like, I don't know, a year ago, 6 months ago, something like that. I'll pull it up here. But he says this, and it makes you go, inadequate on many levels. Does that mean that in, the proposal that Phil sent to Jim Ryan, that it said, after this agreement is up, we would like to have Call of Duty on Game Pass on PlayStation consoles, with you getting some percentile, some sort of cut, or have, we want to have Game Pass on PlayStation, but if you will allow us to have Game Pass on PlayStation, you can then have Call of Duty still, where people can go out and buy the $70 version of Call of Duty for PlayStation, but it'll also be available on Game Pass for $15 a month. And then consumers can make the choice based off of, the information they have at that point. Do they want to pay $15 a month for Call of Duty and a bunch of other games? Or, a lot of gamers only play Call of Duty. So they'd probably be better off just going and buying the $70 version of it, because 15 times 12 is more than $70. So, I don't think people take into consideration how many millions and millions of people out there only buy Call of Duty each year. And so, if I'm PlayStation, if that is the deal, we're just assuming here, all this is hypothetical and speculation, but if that is the deal, then just go, hands up, you win. Don't take Call of Duty. That makes like fucking all the money for us. Not all the money, being once again over dramatic, but Call of Duty makes more money than any other game on PlayStation by a large percentage. And so if that's the case and you really are desperate to keep Call of Duty around, then allow Game Pass to be on your damn platform. Well, I understand that the value proposition there is in some way scary, but at that point you could have everybody who wants to go out and buy an Xbox just be like, nah, I'll just go get a PlayStation. I'll play all the, AAA first party exclusives from PlayStation, and then I'll play all the first party Game Pass or Xbox exclusives on Game Pass. And then the majority of the other AAA publishers out there, the Rockstars, the 2Ks, who aren't willing to put their games day one on Game Pass, you can play those on PlayStation as well. So you just end up getting all the sales. If you end up having Game Pass on your platform, there's really not a great reason at that point to go out and buy an Xbox. And I don't think Xbox really wants to be in the console business. I think they want to be in the Game Pass business, where Game Pass is on everything. And, hundreds of millions of people are subscribed to Game Pass for $15 a month. I think that's the business that Phil Spencer envisions, 20 years down the line. And so if I'm PlayStation, let Game Pass be on your system, keep Call of Duty, and there will still be millions and millions and millions of people who buy Call of Duty for $70 on PlayStation instead of, going in for $15 a month on Game Pass, because it'll still save them money if that's the only one game they play each year. And regardless of all of that, it's just crazy to me that Jim Ryan, of all people, you're the CEO of a company that made Spider-Man exclusive, that strikes up all these deals with Final Fantasy, that has, Forspoken, all these different. And I'm not even saying there's anything wrong with the exclusivity. Do your thing. I don't give a shit. I own the consoles. I don't care. Whatever's going to come wherever, I'll play it wherever it's at. But it's so hypocritical and lacking self-awareness on such a deep level. And you can say, well, Call of Duty's so much bigger than Forspoken. Call of Duty's so much bigger than what, but it's still the principle that remains the same. Spider-Man, you go back to the PlayStation 2 Sam Raimi movie tie-in games, all of those, Xbox, PS2, go through the 360 generation, Web of Shadows, all those games, 360, PS3, the PS4, the Amazing Spider-Man games, PS4, Xbox One, and I believe Amazing Spider-Man was PS4, Xbox One. I could be wrong on that. Let me check. Okay, yeah, it was on both consoles. I had a bit of a brain fart there. But the point is that Spider-Man games have always been on all platforms until Sony got the deal with Marvel, with Insomniac, to make an exclusive Spider-Man game, and they jumped at the opportunity to do that. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that, but you can't go and get mad when the same happens, in the other direction. Spider-Man's huge. Just as a character, a brand, Spider-Man, the character's bigger than Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like, and I know those aren't, it's apples and oranges, but if you see Spider-Man on the shelf, like, that character immediately. And I don't know, man. It's just, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Everyone's gonna play dirty. But Jim, I hate to tell you, man, I would not be surprised if Call of Duty ends up being stripped off of your platform. So something I definitely don't want to see happen, but probably will happen, is that PlayStation, Sony, they're going to be doing everything in their power to build their Call of Duty competitor. And I know they have the Deviation Studio, a bunch of ex-Call of Duty developers working on an exclusive first-person shooter for PlayStation. So, I assume that maybe they'll look to buying that studio up and then having a bunch of support talent come on and help them to put out something that can rival a Call of Duty. It's not going to happen overnight, but you have 7 years, assumedly 7 years to figure this out. You have Bungie over there that can help you, and I know Destiny, I believe they signed the deal that Destiny had to be multi-platform, but Bungie definitely has the expertise to assist you in that process of making a humongous first-person shooter live service-based game. And the unfortunate side effect of that is that Jim Ryan, like we were talking about, is a businessman. He is a finance guy. These studios that we love, the Sucker Punches, the Naughty Dogs, the Santa Monica, all these studios that we love, that built those third-person narrative-driven experiences that we loved on the PlayStation 4. I would not at all be surprised to see a lot of those studios, a lot of talent from those studios being taken and putting on, put to support some style of first-person shooter live service game exclusive to PlayStation. And that's just the unfortunate kind of whirlwind that happens with these moves. If you're creating a big juggernaut live service style of title, it takes unbelievable amounts of talent. You have like 10 studios working on Call of Duty year round. It takes so much money, so many resources, so much talent to keep a game like that. It's so just costly in many, many ways. And one of the ways that it would be the most unfortunate, or at least for me, the most unfortunate cost would be if a lot of those great teams end up losing a lot of their great talent to go and be support for PlayStation's first-person shooter that they have, that they're creating to compete with Call of Duty. So, yeah, man, we will definitely see in the coming years, but we still have 7 years or so to wait and see what happens with this Call of Duty deal. But if I'm PlayStation, if it is in the deal there that all Phil Spencer wants is you just to put Game Pass on your system, then put Game Pass on your damn system and have Call of Duty available on your system. I think that's a win-win for everybody. And I honestly think in the long term, it's probably a win for PlayStation. You have the console business, at least, outside of Nintendo, but Nintendo's always going to be doing their own thing. But Xbox would probably get out of the console business, at least in a major way, as they just are everywhere with their streaming capabilities, cloud capabilities on every TV, on your refrigerator, in your car, playing damn Game Pass on your fan. Like, it's going to be everywhere. So yeah, if I'm PlayStation, just let it be on your platform and then let people go and spend hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars on Call of Duty each year a la carte. So I don't know. That's all very speculative, but it's fun conversation to ponder upon even if it's something that I'm not all that invested to because I'm not a Call of Duty player. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. I had a Witcher story that I wanted to talk about, but we'll save it for the next video if there's not a bunch of news to dive into. But I appreciate all of you for tuning in. As always, drop down below and let me know your comments, your thoughts on these showcases, on this Call of Duty debacle, whatever the hell you want to talk about. Drop it down in the comments, and yeah, I would love to hear from you. But I appreciate you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.